Hello, healers and health seekers. It's me, Ichoda. Long time no see. I haven't made a video in a while. I have been healing with medical medium information for over 5 years now. And I thought that my first video back was going to be back from my sort of hiatus, was going to be more about my healing journey and why I haven't made videos in a while, but there's something on my heart that I wanted to talk about that I think maybe is more important right now, so I'm going to focus on that. First, I want to start by acknowledging that, yes, I know my skin is broken out, or not, yeah, it's kind of like this now. And I have had exposures recently, and that is the reason. I've had ongoing toxin exposures recently that are unavoidable, and that is the reason my skin looks like this. But I am not going to let that stop me from making a video, because I don't care what I look like. Sometimes things just need to be said, and I feel like this is one of those times. I will make a video about that ongoing exposure, and I'll talk about all that stuff and what's been going on in my healing journey. I'll do that next video, but I just really needed to talk about this topic right now. And along those lines, that ties into this topic, because we are so focused on the physical, what people look like, what they wear, their status, how much money they have or we have, what kind of car do they drive, are people shaving their bodies, are they not shaving their bodies. It's all about physical, this world, this world, this world. It's everything. There's so many things that are all of this world that is what we place importance on, and what we focus on, and what we think is successful, what we are taught to, ingrained to think of as successful, has to do with how much money somebody makes, what is their supposed status in this world, do they have a degree from a certain university, or things like that. And I just think it's like all of that, it's worldly, it's of this world, and all of it, honestly, I think it's part of darkness and part of distracting us from what's important, what's really important in life. Sorry, my pug is down here chewing on a stick with gleeful delight, and she is making a ton of noise doing it. And a mess also. So our focus is all on these worldly things, these things that I think are designed to distract us from what's important, which is our spiritual life and cultivating our spiritual life and our relationship with God. And I think part of that is like what's important is focusing on our health and our healing and our families and our personal relationships with people, but also our personal relationships with the spiritual. And you can call it God, and you can call it the light, and you can call it whatever you want to call it, your higher power, or the great spirit, or the universe, whatever. I used to call it a lot of other things too, and now I call it God. And that's fine. I'm not here to try to tell somebody what they should and shouldn't believe, and you might not want to hear me talk about darkness, and that's fine. But the thing is there is a spiritual war going on, and our rights are at stake, our sovereignty is at stake, and our souls are at stake, and that is what darkness is trying to take from us. And it's trying to do it by using things of this world, like coercion and threatening and incentivizing and turning people against each other. There's a lot of brainwashing going on right now where people are turning against family members. And does this remind anybody of, I don't know, another period of time where a certain group of people was ostracized and targeted and turned family members against each other, and people in communities against each other, and neighbors against each other, so that they could further an agenda of control? I know people who think there's no evil in this world. People are inherently good. All people are inherently good. If you just give them enough nurturing and caring and credit, that they'll all just do good things. And medical medium has talked about this recently a lot too. The thing is that I think history has proven otherwise. Look at the atrocities that have happened in this world. Look at genocide. Look at the Holocaust, which is repeating now. Look at throughout history where those that were supposed to be authority figures misled people into something that was harmful to them. Things like DDT and mercury. 2,000 years ago, there was still mercury. There were toxins in this world, and people were consuming them and using them as like medical devices. And you can't tell me there's not evil in this world. Like, if you really pay attention, there is evil in this world. People kill people all the time. And yeah, it's people who have lost faith. It's people who have lost their way. But that doesn't mean that they're not evil. There is evil, a lot of evil. And evil is happening around us. And you can't just trust blindly what is told to you all the time just because everybody else thinks it's true. Because people are brainwashed. People are brainwashed into thinking that something that's actually incredibly harmful to them is going to help them, because everybody wants the magic bullet. Everybody wants the magic pill. They want the thing that's going to be like the savior to end all be all, and we don't have to do anything and do any hard work or look at anything. And I mean, if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure that you're one of the people that knows that that's not the case. That's not the case. So many things that were said to help us have turned out to be so incredibly harmful for us. And all of those things were given to us by people who were authority figures. Mercury elixirs going all the way back 2,000 years. And people talk about, oh, these ancient medicines are so good for us because they go back 2,000 years. Well, guess what? A lot of those ancient medicines are full of heavy metals and have never helped anyone heal from chronic illness. And a lot of those ancient medicines didn't know a lot about what's toxic in this world, and didn't know what causes chronic illness, and didn't know why people get sick. It was kind of guessing games then, and it just has lasted a long time. DDT was told, oh, it's so healthy, put it on. There were suds trucks and people would like wash in the suds, and it caused a myriad of horrible health conditions, birth defects and cancers and deformities and fertility issues and all kinds of things, neurological issues left and right. Agent Orange, that was put upon our own soldiers by, like, are you kidding me? That's chemical warfare right there. Like, that's evil stuff, evil stuff. Cigarettes, they were like, oh, this is all healthy, this is great. No, it's not. It's not. They used to give kids heroin and morphine, and their mama's little helper was like morphine they would give to kids. They used to put cocaine in Coca-Cola. Look at Coca-Cola even now. Sugar, corn syrup, all of these things that are just so toxic to the world. And people talking about protein. I mean, all of this stuff, honestly, is really evil. And it was all stuff that was brainwashed into people and indoctrinated into people. And it's all about control. People are addicted and they fight for their addictions. And it's hard. It's hard to watch. It's hard when you have woken up to what's going on in this world and you can see it, and you see the people that you love and care for around you still addicted and brainwashed, drinking their coffee every day, drinking their matcha tea, eating their chocolate, drinking their apple cider vinegar, doing all kinds of misinformation, just fatting themselves to death, just taking their pharmaceuticals dutifully because their doctor told them to. The doctors don't know either. They don't know what causes chronic illness. They just have Band-Aids to give people. They don't have any real help unless they have learned the truth, but most haven't. And it's hard. It's just hard to watch. And these are all just examples of how, if you are not awake to it, if you don't know that there's evil in this world, how it uses you. And it uses us in so many different ways. Like, there's false light out there everywhere. And when you really, if you're somebody like me who has long been a truther, looking behind the curtain, pulling the curtain back and wondering what's really going on behind the scenes. So you've dug down You've gone down rabbit holes on the internet back before the internet was totally censored, when you used to be able to find information, and you talk to people who know stuff, and you go behind the scenes and you look at like what's really going on, and you follow the money trails. If you're somebody like that, even before I ever found medical medium information, I was doing that. I was down those rabbit holes for decades of my life, looking, trying to find the truth, trying to find out what's really going on. You start to see patterns, and you start to see like, yeah, there's always a follow the money, and there's always like what's really going on? Why do they do this? And you realize like, yeah, a lot of it, it's like there's one level where it's like money, and they take us for our money, but they created the monetary system too. You know, when you really look at it, you look at the top tiers of evil in this world are the ones who created the monetary system, who took all of the free resources that God put on this planet, or the creator, or whoever you think made this planet, all of the free resources that existed here, food, water, shelter, all of it, because shelter doesn't have to look like houses and all that stuff. I mean, there was other shelter like caves and trees and things like that. Took all of the stuff that was freely available to us, monetized all of it, made it all for sale. We now have to buy our groceries. We have to pay for water even. We have to pay to have public utilities hooked up to our house. We have to pay for energy. We have to pay for homes. We have to pay for shelter. We spend our whole days like working and toiling and slaving away just so we can have literally what our basic human needs met, which should be a God-given right that exists on this planet for us to be able to eat every day and be provided for. But they've taken all of it and monetized it. They sell the land. You have to buy, anyone who's a gardener knows, you buy soil. You buy soil, you buy amendments for the soil, which are natural compost, things like that. Things that, again, this all should be free. Like, it should be, you buy seeds, you buy everything. We buy everything we have to pay for. So they've taken everything that God put here for free, and they've made a way to sell it back to us. You buy stones that come from the earth, crystals and rocks and stones, diamonds, and even the heavy metals that they're poisoning with were mined out of the earth, and then they use their huge machines to take it out of the earth and then turn around and make us pay for it. It's crazy. Like, when you really look into it and you think about it and you're like, oh my gosh, this whole planet is just crazy. That's evil. That is an evil as evil can be kind of thing to do. To take away something that is freely available on this planet and make it so that you can only get it if you pay for it or work for it or something. It's basically making us into slaves just so that we can exist on this planet. There's no, it's like takes away all the freedom. Like, that's evil. That's evil, man. And then just literally, like, you look at all the tiers of everything, and it's just, you gotta see it. You start to wake up to it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like, on every level, every system that's been set up is designed to subjugate us, to enslave us, to brainwash us into following that narrative. Every bit of information that comes in from every possible source, the schools, and all of it is all about moving away from our own power, bringing us into illness, always having to look outside of ourselves for an outside source of authority that's not us, taking us away from our own souls, from our own spirituality, from our own God, from our own creator, from our own connection to nature, to life, to our souls, to our spirit, so that they can control and own and enslave and disempower. And who benefits? We don't benefit from that. They benefit from that. And if you don't know the they I'm talking about, you got to wake up. You got to pay attention. You got to wake up, because this is happening. And it's like once you wake up to it, you can see it everywhere. Like you really start to see it. It's like you're pulling at the thread of the fabric of all that they've created. And once you pull at that one thread, it all starts to unravel, and you can start to see, like in each segment, in each system, that nothing is untouched, that nothing is immune, and that all of it, it's like the Matrix. It's all designed to deceive us. It's all designed to subjugate us and to enslave us and to make us do its bidding and to separate us from our true light and our true source. And that's a huge deal. So you start to see the spiritual war. You can start to see, like, yes, they are. This is a battle for our souls. This isn't just about taking our money. It's about smashing us down and disempowering us and taking our power and taking our connection to our source. And even, look, even religion does it. Even religion, organized religion, takes what is a personal connection with God and twists it to its own needs, again, to obtain things of this world, control, power, money. Look at these churches. Look at these mega churches. Look how much money. They're not for profit and all this stuff. And I'm not saying that there aren't churches out there that do really good in this world, and there aren't congregations out there that have people with really good hearts who really mean well, who really are working for God and really are working for their source and are connected. There, for sure, there are people out there that really are. And there are organizations out there that really are doing good, but I would assert that they're few and far between. Like, I really do think that every system that's in place is in place to control us in some way or another. And if you look back through history, you'll see it. You'll see it. If you really pay attention, we cannot just trust what some outside source tells us that does not, when you can really look and see, they don't have our best interest at heart. Medical medium really has our best interest at heart. He breaks his back on a daily basis and slaves away with no glory, no benefit to him, really. Like, well, spiritually there's absolutely benefit to him. For sure, he is building his soul's gold in a huge way, but he gets nothing but flack. He gets nothing but pushback. He gets nothing but hate for all of his effort, and absolutely he gets the reward of knowing that he's helping save people's lives. But holy heck, what he has to go through on a daily, hourly basis to do it, it's insane. And when I even think about it, when I think about what I go through, and then I think about what he goes through, I'm always like, okay, whatever I go through is nothing compared to what he goes through. I mean, yes, chronic illness for sure was, and losing my son, and it's not that I haven't been through my trials, but I get to take a break from things sometimes now because I've healed. You know, like, he never gets a break from any of it. 24/7, he has to keep doing this work. It never lets up for him. And I just am blown away. And plus all of that he's endured. His whole life, just opposition, opposition, opposition. That's a hard, hard existence. And I am constantly inspired by his strength and his fortitude and his perseverance in the face of what he gets thrown at him. And I am also aware that I don't even know the half of what he gets thrown at him. I know that I don't. And what I do know blows my mind all the time. I'm just like, holy heck, how does he keep going? Because he doesn't have to. He could be on an island somewhere, he could turn around and stop giving everything away for free and just sell all of it. He could, and make billions of dollars in an instant, because people would buy his programs. I would pay, because I know how valuable this information is. Yeah, man. But he won't do that, because his work is not of this world. His work is for the light and for God. Oh, it moves me to tears just to think about it, because it really is. And it's like I get it on a level that I never understood it before. Not just him, but just what it means to be working for God, and what it means to be not of this world and not focused on the things of this world, and how much healing really is God's work. It is working for the light, to be healing from chronic illness, because that's darkness that put us in that position. That's darkness that put us in that position of being that sick. It's darkness that got us that sick. All the toxins in this world, that's evil. That's darkness working. All of the pathogens, well, they were grown in labs, except the ones that have mutated from the ones that are grown in labs and put into the population intentionally. That's evil. Evil does that. Darkness does that. Darkness clouds this world in chemicals. Darkness is what's cutting down all of the rainforests and burning down all of the forests everywhere. That's not natural. That's not natural occurrences that's happening. Darkness is what is causing all of this, and what keeps us subjugated, and what keeps us in the dark. And darkness can come in many subtle forms. It's not all like fire and brimstone versus angels. It doesn't all look like that. The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world he doesn't exist. Look at the world. People think there's no evil in this world. I know people who think everybody's good. Really? Wake up. Look around. And I know there's a lot of people have a lot of questions about that. Well, then if there's God, why would God let these things happen? And I don't necessarily know the answer, but for me, part of it is that God gave everybody free will. And it's people's free will that kind of made all this stuff happen. People who've lost faith, who lost their way, who lost touch with the light, and who turned evil and totally succumbed to darkness. But we succumb to darkness in so many ways that we never realize. There's so much false light out there, making us think, oh, this is okay. And people will compromise their morals and values for certain things. Here's an example. Look in the medical medium community. You see all the little sharks he talks about, all those people who they actually did use the medical medium tools to heal themselves of their illnesses. And then when they got better, they turned around and started using the community to sell their little toys, to sell all their things that don't work, and then pretending that instead of it being a medical medium information, it was this instead. Stuff like zeolite and ionizer water machines, and any multi-level marketing, anything, essential oils, and I'm not knocking essential oils. I do use them for certain things, but any multi-level marketing, I'm just like, nope, that's evil. All of it's evil. All that stuff, because none of that stuff actually got anybody better. Yeah, there's some benefits that can come from using certain, the essential oils, none of the other stuff, but if they put it on a multi-level marketing scheme, then it's a scheme. To me, that's all evil. And nope, it's like that automatically makes it not good. Yeah, that's a perfect example of evil, though, is evil using people. Because what do people tell themselves to suddenly turn on the truth? Because I have to wonder, what do people tell themselves that makes it okay for them in their head to use the medical medium tools to heal, and then turn around and use the following they've built because of using the medical medium tools and their social media status to lie to people who are trying to heal and tell them that something else was what helped heal them. Something else that costs lots of money, usually. Something else that they are profiting from financially because they're getting a commission to sell it. They're being paid or they're selling something. How does somebody's pocketbook become more important than all the people who are chronically ill and are searching for answers? How does that become more important to them than helping people heal? I don't know the answer. I just have seen it happen so many times. I have seen these little sharks, as Medical Medium calls them, appropriately, come up in the community, use a certain formula to build a certain amount, and it's usually 20,000 followers. I've seen them do this. I've seen them. I'm going to make a whole nother video about this, so I'm not going to go too into it. But I've seen there's a pattern and there's a way they do it. And they use being reposted, like they tell their healing story and then they get reposted and they use that to build their platform. And then once it reaches 20,000 about, that's when they change their entire page. They change everything about their account, and then suddenly they bring in whatever it is they're selling. And it's different things, like I said, it's different things, but they all do the same thing, and then suddenly their account is all about something else. But they still say, oh, Medical Medium helped me, and this other thing that they never used before in their healing, and that never helped them heal for sure, but suddenly they pretend that it did because they are making money off of it. Because there's nothing from Medical Medium that you can really make money off of unless you're taking his information and charging people for it, which people do. There's nothing to sell. There's nothing to profit from. He gives away the information for free. So they're like, okay, well, what can I make money off of? And I'm not saying people shouldn't make a living. Of course people should make a living. But why do you have to lie to make a living? If you have to lie to make a living, what is that? That is you giving yourself to darkness and letting darkness use you. That is selling your soul, is what I see it as. You're selling your soul, because what becomes more important to you? This world and making money, or like literally the healing of human, like what, how does that be more important? I just don't understand. How does it be more important to you? And again, I grew up in poverty. I'm not even trying to say like people shouldn't make a living, but you can make a living and be honest. You can be honest and make a living. You can. You don't have to steal. You don't have to lie. You don't have to cheat. You really can make a living without compromising other people. You could even sell those little shark products, those MLM products, if you want to, the multi-level marketing stuff. Go ahead. You can do that. But don't lie about those products helping you heal. Don't lie about how you healed, because you healed by using the Medical Medium tools, and you never before used these other things. You never used, like, I've watched people heal. I have watched people heal for like, they'll be in the community for like 3 years. They heal all their symptoms. They're feeling great. Then they start using this other thing and being like, oh, this helped me. No, it didn't, because you used the Medical Medium information to heal, and only after you started feeling good did you start dabbling in something else. Why do people lie? Why? I don't know. Darkness, that's why. Evil, that's why. Because they let it take over them. They tell themselves something, or they let darkness tell them something, and they like, yeah, it's okay that I do that. whatever. I don't understand it. And yeah, I am totally judging it. You can see that I'm judging it because I think it's not okay. I get furious. It's not okay to use the chronically ill and take advantage of the chronically ill to line your own pocketbook. That is not an okay way to make a living. Why do you need to lie to people? If you have to lie to people about something to make it okay for you to make money off of it, then it's not a good idea, I think. Call me crazy, but that's what I think. I just, why? Why? Like, the chronically ill have not been preyed upon enough by this world, by all of the systems that are supposed to help them that never did, by all the people who tell them it's all in their head and don't believe them and mock them and abandon them when they have been at their lowest points. It's not okay, man. It's not okay. I don't care what you're telling yourself. And it's usually those ones, it's always these people who weren't that sick in the first place. They were never on Mattress Island, dying, unable to move, in so much pain. They didn't go through decades of searching for answers. These are not the seasoned ones. These are the ones who weren't very sick. They had a few symptoms. They healed them up and off they went to make their money off of the people who are desperately looking for answers, off the people who are trying whatever they can to get better because they are just in the mire, like in the swamp of just trying to find answers. And these people are predators, these little sharks. They are. That's why he calls them little sharks, because they're predatory. What they're doing, it's predatory and it's disgusting. And I know I said I was going to make a whole nother video about that, and I basically just made one now. I will, though. I'll tell you the pattern. I'll tell you what I've seen so you can see it for yourself. I will do. I'll make that video. Got myself all worked up, but it's true, man. Look at the ways evil uses people, because these are people that they were good people. Like, a lot of us in the community feel betrayed by these people because we were friends with them. Like, we believed in them, we loved them and cheered them on, and then they heal, and as soon as they heal, they're like, oh, money, 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 Like, how can I sell this stupid, expensive product that doesn't work at all and actually makes people sicker because it puts more heavy metals into their body? How can I, oh yeah, look, and I'm going to tell all kinds of false lies, and I'm going to use the platform that I built off of people following medical medium information. It's disgusting. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't stop. I get started and I can't stop. So I'm sorry. That's like a huge rant, but is just an example. It's an example of how people let darkness take over them, and why it's important to learn about like what's yours and what's not yours, and that when you're having these doubt thoughts and these negative thoughts creep in, that's darkness talking to you, and you can choose whether or not to listen to it. And I know sometimes it's hard because it uses your own voice, and you think it's you and you think it's yours, and you think, oh, this is the thing and it's real, and it can be so easy to not realize what's happening and not realize what it is, and that it's not a part of you, and that you don't have to succumb to it. And darkness uses fear and manipulation and lies. Always. It always has to cheat. Always. It always cheats. Look at these little sharks. They're cheaters, these carpetbaggers who come into the community just to take advantage of people. They're cheating and they're lying to people. They rob, cheat, lie, and steal, and try to also contribute to stealing your health. They don't care about you. They don't care about anything but themselves. That is darkness. It's messed up. Just like these industries don't give a flying crap about any of us. All they care is about shaking us down for all the money they can, and then owning us because they need to keep us addicted. Just like Medical Medium talks about, they've got to keep us addicted from birth. They get our kids addicted. They get us from birth, so they have us through our whole life addicted. And then we're never our own selves. We're never autonomous. We are always just our addictions, just caffeine, chocolate, matcha tea, fatty foods, because we get addicted to the adrenaline that it takes to digest these fatty foods. So all these fatty foods, all the MSG, which is literally a neurotoxin that keeps us addicted to the foods that it's in. Just, it's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. It's ridiculous. It's all this stuff, like adrenaline-based movies and video games and fear-based, terror movies, horror games and all that stuff. Like all of it. It's all about keeping us addicted and dependent on these things and on these systems. And then they get us addicted to their drugs. So we'll be dependent on that system for the drugs to keep us on this band-aid roller coaster of like, I feel better for a minute, but then it stops working and then I got to find something else. So give me another drug. And it's just money falling out of our pockets. I'm just picturing like you pick something upside down and shake them until the money falls out of their pockets. This is kids back when we used to use cash. That's another whole thing. And then it's never ending. It's just this vicious cycle. But the thing is like, we are not that. That's not who we are. We are spiritual beings. We belong to God, and we have to find our way back to the light. And it's a fight. It is a spiritual war, and it is hard sometimes because literally everything is coming from every direction, death by 1,000 cuts, to get us, to get us, to get us, to hook us, to hook us. That's why all of these, like, look, gambling and all this stuff, it's all addictions. It's all like feeding the addiction. Anywhere we are feeding the addiction, darkness has us. Anywhere. Our phones, man. All of it. The screens. I'm not immune. I know. It's horrible. Because it's everywhere. But we are stronger. And our connection to God is so important. And again, it's personal. It's not about like what I tell you or somebody else tells you or some minister or preacher or literally it's a personal connection. It's not about a religion or following some dogma or some set of rules. That's not it. It's about a personal connection. That's what I think. And yes, I think within that personal connection, there are certain truths. And when you look at it and you look at all the things that they try to get us to do to deter us from that connection, you really start to see just how much in this world is designed to pull us away from our source, from our connection to our own souls, to ourselves, and to our higher power, our creator, God, the light, universe, whatever you want to call it. But we can rise above. Part of that is cleaning up our livers, cleaning up our bodies, so that we're not at the mercy of these heavy metals that attract more darkness and make it easier for darkness to get at us. I really do think that having all of these heavy metals in our body, first of all, it's intentional. It's by design. The more chemicals, the more heavy metals we have in us, the easier it is for us to be taken and controlled. So cleaning up our bodies is absolutely important. And Medical Medium has so many spiritual tools. The meditations at the back of the books, particularly, well, honestly, all of the books, I think almost all the books have meditations in them, but the most meditations are in the Medical Medium Revised and Expanded Edition book. The most ones are in here. There are also some great meditations in the Liver Rescue book and in Thyroid Healing and in Medical Medium Revised and Expanded Edition and Life Changing Foods, Angels. In the first Medical Medium book, he had 21 essential angels. In the Revised and Expanded Edition, there's 27 because the times, with the changing times, he's introduced us to new angels. And in Life Changing Foods, the angels are a lot about our food supply. So these books, oh my gosh, if you don't have this, I actually have a few extra copies, so I'd be willing to give away a couple of copies of this book. If anyone needs one, hit me up. Preferably in the United States, only just because of shipping. It's kind of expensive. Unless you want to pay for shipping, but I don't know, you could probably just buy the book if you're in another country for the cost of shipping. So these books, I mean, look, I have every book. I have every book. I have every book in every format. I have them in hardback. I have them on audio. I have them on the Kindle. Now, there may be a time we do not have access to digital anything. It could be a solar flare comes and takes out the whole power grid, so we got nothing. These are crucial. Hardbacks. Get the hardbacks. The thing is about the books is that they are living word. And Medical Medium talks about what that means, and I believe it's the Liver Rescue book. Okay, so he's got two places where he talks about the living word in the Liver Rescue book, and one of them is on page 434, Liver Rescue. And it says, when you find peace within yourself by connecting to the living words you've absorbed throughout these pages, you become a beacon that lights the way for others. And here is just a little portion of what he says about living words on page 441 in Liver Rescue. Living words. Because the words you've read throughout this book come from Spirit of the Most High, the Spirit of compassion, they're alive. That's right. There are words that are dead and words that have life to them. Anyone who puts heart and soul into their writing doesn't write dead words. If you're speaking from your heart and soul, those words are not dead. Then there are words that are regurgitated or taken from another source meant to manipulate. Those words can be dead. And then there are words that live forever. The words here really are living words. It's not just because I put my heart and soul into writing them. It's because they come from a spiritual source. These words will always be here for generations to come. They will always shine no matter the times. They will never grow old and useless, because what Spirit gives to me to document is health scripture. And Spirit is the living essence of the word compassion. Even if there are moments when you feel you cannot persevere. See, I know they're living words because they go into my heart when I read them. Even if there are moments where you feel that you cannot persevere, these words will persevere for you. They're here for you to grab onto. They're the hands that reach out to pull you up when you're hanging from a cliff. Living words hold light. Dead words can hold darkness. Because of their source, the living words throughout this book hold light and purge the sickness, which is darkness, out of people. Dead words can take people into the darkness. They can lead us to dead ends, whether we realize that in the moment or not. Sometimes they deceive us with smoke and mirrors or mirages. If we follow them, in the end, we'll find ourselves disillusioned. Not that dead words can't have meaning. We can still learn from them, the same way we can learn from studying pressed flowers, careful not to touch or hold them and turn them to dust. Living words are like the flowers still in the field. Even if trust has been broken and the hope inside your heart and soul is diminished from your journeys, living words can be the hope you feel you've lost. When you're blinded by struggle, living words can see for you until you're ready to see the light through your own eyes. While dead words, wherever they come from, whether health literature or elsewhere, can become a part of you over time that keeps you weighted down, living words elevate you. They have the power to release you. Oh, do you feel that? Do you feel that? When you read it, I feel it so much it's coming out my eyes. It goes right through my heart and out my eyes. It just wells me up to tears because I feel it so deeply when I read it. And each time I go back to the books, because I have now made a habit, remember, 5 years, right? And every time a new book comes out, I go back and I revisit all the old books. So either I will listen to them while I'm preparing food or whatever. If I can, I really try to sit down and read the hardback, because it really is the source, right? It's like when people read the Bible. These are my Bibles. You know, you get something new from it each time. You get something different from it each time. Each time it deepens my understanding of the information. I suddenly, like, really in the past year or so, a couple of years maybe, have really opened up to really see all of the spiritual information in these books. This is not just about food and healing the body. These books are about all of it. The mind, body, spirit, heart, soul, like all of it, all of who we are. And it's just, it's given me so much. And so when I do get in that place, when I am in that place of feeling lost, I go and get into the medical medium information, and I get in these books because they are the beacon of light in the darkness. It is so important for us to go to the source directly and not try to get it through somebody else. That's why I always say in my videos, like, don't take my word for it. Go look it up yourself. Go read it yourself, because you might see something different than I saw in it. You might, because I think that's what living words are about. I pray that you'll continue to return to the living words, because that is where we can find so much spiritual support. And I take so much inspiration from those living words. And so it just helps me keep going. It helps me keep going. Yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I miss you guys. I love you so much. Just thank you. If you're here, if you watched this whole video, holy moly, I just want to give you a hug. Thank you. I hope, tell me what you thought of it. Let me know. So many blessings to all of you. Stay curious, my healers and health seekers, and keep using the medical medium tools and keep healing. And I love you. And please tell me in the comments how you're doing. I want to hear from you. I miss you all so much, even though I see some of you in medical mediums comments. So that's awesome. And keep watching the lives, the medical medium lives, because he has been dropping all these awesome truths lately. And I feel like you got to watch the lives to keep up, because yeah, it's incredible. So keep a light heart, keep healing, and I will see you next time. I love you. Bye bye.